Hey, what's happening, guys? Cowboy here, and I wanted to take one more look at Omio before the Nioh 2 beta ended. Previously, when I was doing Omio, I was essentially focusing all my stats into magic and trying to ramp up the actual elemental damage of things like the elemental shots, fire shot, explosive shot, fire shinkigami, all that stuff, and it felt really lackluster. So instead, I wanted to go back in and do an Omio build that was more focused around the Switchglaive and buffs. While you could do a buff-oriented build with pretty much every weapon, I really wanted to see if I could get the Switchglaive to work, and I think it does kind of work if you spec more towards it. So magic, we only went up to 30. That is the Omio capacity cap. And then from there, we focus Constitution, the Switchglaive being C scaling, and Constitution and skill. Constitution is just a safer bet because we're getting health out of it. As for the gear, obviously we went down quite a bit in weight. Our equipment weight is at 29.7, so we are relying on our quick dodges to get out of threatening situations. And then as for our Omio buffs, we are working with quite a few things here just to kind of show where we're going for. So some of the main buffs you'd want to use here, obviously Carnage combined with Weakness Talisman, that's kind of a standard go-to combo, and then Barrier Talisman, which is previously known as Yokai. Now, obviously, you could do this type of loadout with pretty much anything. You know, you could. This was used towards the end of the game in the original Nioh with pretty much every weapon. And right now, it almost feels like I kind of need this stuff to get the damage out with the Switchglaive. So to show, first we're going to do a quick run that isn't as focused around buffs to show you what the damage is like, and then a run that is focused around buffs to show you what it could do. There's a couple abilities in the high stance that we ended up taking that are kind of needed to get this to work. See, our damage isn't bad, but still, considering we're level 45, you would think we would be doing a lot more damage than we are. So now we're going to do one where we focus on having up all the buffs. I mean, ultimately, I don't know. I still feel like the Switchglaive really needs a buff. And it sucks because I was really excited for this weapon. I like it a lot. I like the moveset. I like the ability to, you know, if we're in mid stance, you can switch off and finish off into high stance alpha combo. Same with low stance. You know, the low stance transitions into a high stance swing, so it kind of has like a little bit of Odachi flavor going on there. But right now, I feel like this thing is gonna need some buffs, because stacking this much Omio up, I mean, if you do this with pretty much any weapon, you're gonna obliterate the boss. And it does make it so that, yeah, Switchglaive is gonna do some work, but I feel like if we were doing the same thing, but focused on, you know, like Dual Blade or Sarigama or something, that we'd see even more. So as you can see, yeah, the damage is there, but I don't know. That's the damage when we have stacked up, you know, kind of the cookie cutter combo of buff your defense way the hell up, debuff the enemy's defense. In particular, those two moves, I wasn't using those previously when I was working with Switchglaive. I do feel those are incredibly powerful. Infinite Retribution here, which is kind of in line with like Reaper or Water Sword, and then Infinite Retribution 2, which the damage is going to scale up, and it just allows you a beefy finisher to that move. And then Empty Retribution was the one we were doing that was kind of blowing through the stamina as well as some forward positioning. So while I do think the kind of standard heavy moveset, like, you know, our heavy finisher, that's a really high commitment. Like, I'm already hitting dodge, and it took going through both of those very slow swings to get off the dodge. Our charge move, super high commitment. Even just our regular heavy attack, I don't feel those are that strong, and I think high stance is one of the most appealing things about this weapon. Low stance obviously is great, going to be great for applying Omio, lots of big combos, lots of dashing around. Mid stance, pretty potent moveset, almost like it's like a halberd essentially. So you got good mobility on that. But high stance, it's just very slow and very, very high risk, high reward. And I know that's kind of what high stance is about in particular, but if you work with these two skill abilities in particular, I feel that it kind of comes into a better category than it was. So based on this, I do think that maybe a Omyo weapon skill oriented build could be very potent. But even then, we had to really stack on buffs to get this thing to melt the boss, whereas if you've watched the streams, we were able to melt the boss with Water Sword or with Kusarigama or with a bunch of weapons without stacking buffs like this at all. So in the state it's in right now, I do think Omyo is going to be viable, but I don't think it's going to be nearly as potent as it was in the original Nioh. Maybe super late game, like once you're at Way of the Demon or something, where you have your magic all the way up, shots will be potent, but that'll remain to be seen. So anyway, just wanted to get this up because I know I haven't been enjoying Omyo so much, and a lot of people were kind of like, damn, I really wanted Omyo to be good. So just wanted to show you guys it can be good, but you got to really stack those buffs up to make this thing hit like a truck. So either way, thanks for coming on by, and I'll catch you guys soon enough with full launch.